So the astrologer charged 3 pies for each question. He never opened his mouth till the other had spoken for at least 10 minutes, which provided him enough stuff for a dozen answers and advices. It means that he was very clever and he allowed his customers to speak first. He gave them at least 10 minutes, and those 10 minutes were enough for him to understand the human's nature, his customer's nature, and to understand their problems and to advise them on, on their problems. When he told the person before him, gazing at his palm, in many ways you are not getting the fullest results for your efforts, 9 out of 10 were disposed to agree with him. Now he had developed his own way to deal with the customers. Some typical questions were always ready that he would ask to the customers. Immediately after gazing at any customer's palm, his first statement was, despite their fullest efforts, they are not getting any success. And the moment he would say it, 9 out of 10 were disposed to agree with him. Disposed, inclined. Means they were willing. They were 9 out of 10 immediately got agreed with him. Or he questioned, is there any woman in your family? Maybe even a distant relative who is not well disposed towards you? Or there may be some other questions like this he would ask about the family members, about any woman who might not be well disposed towards him. Or he gave an analysis of character. Most of your troubles are due to your nature. How can you how can you be otherwise with Saturn where he is? Or sometimes he would talk about, comment about that man's nature, his customer's nature, his uh, intuition, and he would always ask one thing, how they could be otherwise with Saturn where he is. Means he would also talk about the different planets, their position and their role in their in customers life. You have an impetuous nature, that is reckless, very impulsive, and a rough exterior. This endeared him to their hearts immediately. Endeared, made likable. It is given their word. Actually, in simplest possible words, I can say that all these strategies or all these saying of the astrologer made him deared, to the customers he was dealing with. For even the mildest of us loves to think that he has a forbidding exterior, and definitely his outward appearance was definitely forbidding one, very rash, very rough. So what has been given here? He had developed his own way to understand human nature, the mankind's nature. Whenever customer would come to him, just by gazing at their palms, he would speak some of the questions which had already been fixed. Like, despite their efforts, they were not getting success. There might be some troubles because of the family members. He would comment on their nature. He would talk about their problems because of their natures, because of their behavior. So all these things made him more attracted and fond of the made him fond of the customers. Even it he was a man of, therefore he was a man of a forbidding exterior. Now the nuts vendor blew out his flare is a absolutely flash, and rose to go to home. Now it was evening time. Nuts vendor had packed up his wares. He blew out the flash, and now he was ready to go to home. This was a signal for the astrologer to bundle up too, means to pack up too, since it left him in darkness except for a little shaft of green light, little shaft, little ray, ray, or little beam, beam, of green light which strayed in, that which came in, or lingered in lingered in from somewhere and touched the ground before him. So as there was darkness, no light was there. So it was also a hint, a signal for the astrologer to pack up his wares. And there was only one little shaft or ray of green light touching to the ground. He picked up his cowrie shells and paraphernalia, that is, other equipments, and was putting them back into his bag when the green shaft of light was blotted out. As he was packing up everything, that green shaft of light was blotted out. It was hindered, means he looked up and saw a man standing before him. Why was it blotted out? Because it was it was blocked by a man, and therefore he looked up and saw a man standing before him. He sensed a possible client and said, obviously, that man had come there to the astrologer, and he realized that man was none but a possible client and said, you look so careworn. Look, कोणीही व्यक्ती आली की त्याचे टिपिकल असायचं, असे काही टिपिकल प्रश्न त्याचे. यू लुक सो केअरवर्न, दॅट इज वरीड. It will do you good to sit down for a while and chat with me. So he told him if he sat down and had a talk with him, he could understand his problem and he could solve his problem. The other grumbled some reply vaguely. Immediately on it, the stranger, the man who was standing there, spoke in a complaining voice. But whatever he spoke, it was vague. Vague means unclear. The astrologer pressed his invitation. Now, the astrologer pressed his invitation means the astrologer told him, the astrologer asked him to ask his problem. The moment he said so, the astrologer the moment the astrologer told him to tell his problem, whereupon the other thrust his palm under his nose. The strange man immediately thrust his palm before his nose before him, saying, you call yourself an astrologer? The astrologer felt challenged and said, tilting the other palm towards the green shaft of light. Now there was only green shaft of light. Now it was it was a challenge for the astrologer. He spoke in a rough voice and he almost challenged the astrologer. Uh, I think astrologer had also not been interacted or had not been interacted with any of the customers like this one before. So he asked him if uh, the astrologer felt challenged and said, tilting the other's palm towards the green shaft of light. He saw his palm in the light of that green shaft. Yours is a nature. Oh, stop that. The other said, tell me something worthwhile. It means that here astrologer started telling him the same way as he was dealing with his other customers, but immediately he was stopped by the stranger and told him that uh, he wanted him to tell something different. Our friend felt picked. He was absolutely picked, very irritated, and very annoyed. I charge only 3 pies per question, and what you get ought to be good enough for your money. Then astrologer said him, as he charged money from his customers, they should get the result. At this, the other withdrew his arm, took out an anna, only one anna, and flung it, threw it out to him, saying, I have some questions to ask. If I prove you are bluffing means deceiving, saying lie, you must return that anna to me with interest. Now he was a first customer challenging the astrologer. He told him he had some questions to him to ask. If the astrologer failed to answer these questions, it means he was deceiving the people, and if it happened, he must return that anna to him. And that is, it is not just one anna, it is with interest. So addition of, if you find my answer satisfactory, will you give me 5 rupees? But astrologer also replied very with the same, he also shot back with the same spirit. If he could answer him satisfactorily, then was would the astrologer give him 5 rupees? He replied negatively. Then he said, if he could, or will you give me 8 annas? All right. So in the last, the deal was final, 8 annas. So he said, all right, provided you give me twice as much if you are wrong, said the stranger. This pact was accepted after a little further argument. This pact, this deal. So what does it mean? Now, it's a kind of a challenge which was accepted by astrologer to answer him satisfactorily, or to give him satisfactory answer. Initially 5 rupees he was not ready to give. In the last 8 annas it was final, but one condition was there. If the astrologer was wrong in answering him satisfactorily, he would, that is, the astrologer would, give him back twice as much as he had given him. The astrologer sent up a prayer to heaven as the other lit a chirut. Now, as it was going on, the astrologer looked up into the heaven, into the sky, and he might have muttered something when the strange man lit a chirut, that is cigarette. The astrologer caught a glimpse of his face by the matchlight. The moment the stranger struck the matchlight, astrologer could see his face, could have a short look of his face, brief look of his face, and there was a pause as cars hooted on the road. Jutka drivers swore at their horses, and the babble, that is murmur, that sound of the crowd, agitated the semi darkness of the park. All these expressions, like cars stopped, Jutka drivers, these are the horse drivers agitating, abusing their horses, and that murmuring sound or that babbling of the crowd uh, agitating the semi darkness of the park. It means what? The moment the astrologer saw the face of that stranger in the matchlight, he was shocked, as if everything had stopped. The surrounding of the atmosphere adds to the fear of the astrologer, as he recognized the man, because he was the man whom he tried to kill, and the same man had come there in order to take his advice. Now he completely got shocked and he was completely afraid. The other had sit down, sucking his churut, puffing out, sat there ruthlessly. There was no any sign of worry on his face. He was ruthlessly sucking his churut. The astrologer felt very uncomfortable. So what happened then? Here, take your Anna back. I'm not used to such challenges. It is late for me today. Now he was giving excuses because he didn't want to interact with this man. He didn't want to get encountered with him, and therefore he said that he immediately gave his Anna back, saying that he was not used to deal with such kind of challenges. He gave him excuses that he was getting late. He made preparation to bundle up. The other held his wrist and said, you can't get out of it now. You dragged me in while I was passing. But the strange man, or the stranger, he was firm on his decision. He didn't allow him to bundle up his wares, and he held him with his wrist. And he held his wrist, and that grip was so tight that the astrologer shivered in his grip and his voice shook and became faint. Now the astrologer was taken aback. The grip was so tight that he started shaking. He started shivering. He felt as if he was going to faint. Leave me today. I will speak to you tomorrow. The other thrust his palm in his face and said, challenge it, challenge. Go on. That is, carry on. The astrologer proceeded with his throat drying up. There is a woman. Now, again, astrologer, as he threatened, as the man threatened the astrologer, he had accepted the challenge and he would not allow him to go until he would answer his question. So there was no option before the astrologer. He sat and this way he uh, he proceeded with his throat drying up, and as usual he said that there is a woman. Stop, said the other. I don't want all that, because he was very well knowing a thing that he always telling the people the same things, and he didn't want to listen any of this. Shall I succeed in my present search or not? Answer this and go. This is what the person wanted him, or wanted the astrologer to answer. What was the question? If the stranger would be successful in his present search, he wanted him to answer that, and then he could go. Otherwise, I will not let you go till you disgorge all your coins. And then one more condition: if the astrologer failed to answer him, he would not allow him to go. Instead, he would disgorge all his coins, means he would make him to surrender before him and to empty all his coins. The astrologer now had no any option. The astrologer muttered a few incantations and replied, all right, I will speak, but will you give me a rupee if what I say is convincing? Astrologer was also very shrewd. He was also very quick. He accepted the challenge. He stopped there, and now he put a condition. If he answered him convincingly, would he give him 1 rupee? Otherwise, I will not open my mouth, and you may do whatever you like. He also told, if he did not give him rupee, or if he did not give him any pie, then he would not open his mouth. He could do whatever he liked. After a good deal of haggling, that is bargaining, the other agreed. The astrologer said, you were left for dead. Am I right? Now the astrologer started a chat with him. And the very first, you were left for dead. Am I right? Huh? Tell me more. A knife has passed through you once, said the astrologer. Now, one by one, the astrologer was putting some statements before him. The very first was, he had somehow been alive. Otherwise, he would have died. The first statement was very convincing. So he said, yes, tell me more. A knife has passed through you once, said the astrologer. Good fellow. He bared. Bared means opened, showed. His chest to show the scar. Scar means wound. The astrologer told him that somebody had attacked him with knife. Immediately, the stranger showed him the wound or the scar because of that knife. And then you were pushed into a well nearby in the field. And after the person attacked him, what happened? He pushed him into a well nearby, in the nearby field. You were left for dead. And the person who stabbed him, who pushed him into a well, left the village, and the stranger was left in the well for death. I should have been dead if some passerby had not chanced to peep into the well, exclaimed the other, overwhelmed by enthusiasm. Now, whatever astrologer was saying to him, each and everything was right and it was correct. And he also agreed with astrologer, saying that if a passerby hadn't peeped into the well, he would have died. So, as astrologers, everything was everything was correct. He was overwhelmed, he was excited. When shall I get at him? He asked, clenching his fist. Now, very angrily clenching his fist, he asked the question when he would be able to get that man who stabbed him, who attacked him with knife, and who pushed him into the well. In the next world, answered the astrologer. He died 4 months ago in far off town. You will never see any more of him. And the answer was in a such a way, like what? He would not meet him in this world, but he would meet him in the next world. The astrologer answered so because he had died 4 months ago in a far off town. The man who tried to kill the stranger had already died, not in that not in this town, but in a far off town, and therefore he would never able to see him more. The other groaned on hearing it. Groaning is a moaning sound. कन्यासारखा आवाज होतो ना. Actually, the stranger wanted to punish him, but before giving him punishment, he had already